So if you've been looking on Instagram, you would have seen that I've got hold of the Push 2 now. It's an incredible piece of hardware, and what I've been doing is trying to learn how to use the thing. Okay, so I still can't claim to be an expert, but what I wanted to do is just to basically do a little composition session. I'm going to have the camera top down on the unit, and I'm going to show you some of the things that I've discovered so far. So we start off with 4 tracks. You've got 2 MIDI and 2 audio. And what I want to do is load up a device here. So I'm just going to go over here to browse, and instead of using the rotaries, I've seen some people are doing that on videos. I'm going to avoid them because it means that quite often I'll put my fingers over the actual screen here. So I'm going to use the navigation that we've got on the right hand side here. And the most logical starting point would be to set up a drum rack. I'm going to set up an empty one. All right, so we're going to get this. You've got loads of kits and stuff, but I'm not going to use those. I'm just going to load it up with the empty drum rack. And we got drum pads here that we can use. You can see here a matrix. And let me just do something here. I've got a funny feeling my brightness is not quite right. All right, so I want you guys to be able to see this properly. It's very difficult to get the lighting right with the Push unit, combination of the LEDs and the room light, etc, etc. But let's see how it goes. So we're going to do that. So we got the pads, and we've got here a matrix of basically 4x4. And you're really familiar with this. The other thing that I like about Push is we can go to the 64 matrix, so literally all 64 pads could be available for dropping samples on. But I'm going to keep it simple for the moment. I'm going to show you what we can do to load up samples onto the drum pads. And there's some really good samples here in the Ableton library actually. So with the first pad here selected, going to go to browse. And you can see here we've got the drum hits folder selected. Preview is on, which means that when we audition the sample, it's going to play. And let me come down. So I'm going to pick myself a couple of kicks. So to the right. Okay, something about that one I like. Let's go to the next pad. I quite like that too. Okay, real classic kind of 909. Go to the third pad, fourth pad. Okay, so 4 kicks. So this is a certain approach to building a drum kit. Let's get some other samples now. Let's go to okay, and let's get some hats on here. Let's come over. I could have jumped actually. You see these arrows here, these allow you to jump back and forth between the different categories. Instead of me jumping through all those individual samples to get back to the hats, I could have used these. These are like shortcuts. So back over here. Okay, let's go for that. Okay, give myself a couple of open hats. Okay, that's nice. Even though it says closed, I quite like that as an open hat. Okay, maybe the classic 909 there. And up here, I don't know, let's go back to the previous category. Let's get a shaker. Okay, let's get that one. And let's come back. And maybe pick a snare or something. Actually, I tell you what I do want is a tambourine. Okay, that one's good. And then maybe just a couple of snares. And that one. So I've got myself a little kit. Yeah. Alright, so let me get the metronome on. Just going to record something in here and let's see what happens. Okay, let me just do something here. Going to go to the clip length and just take that down to 1 bar. And also going to quantize that. So I'm actually going to duplicate, I'm going to double the length of the loop. And record that in. So the quantize, let me just set a different grid. Got a nice little triplet vibe on the go there. Okay, let's record something in. Okay, I played that really badly, so I'm just going to undo. Let's try again. Okay, that's cool. Okay, let's get that one in. Okay, so that's a nice little beat on the go. Let's come on to the second MIDI track. And this time I want to load up a drum rack again. Alright, so I'm going to do this with something, it's going to be a bit different. Alright, so let me show you. So we're going to do drum rack again. And, where are we? So I'm on the wrong one actually. Drum rack, let's load this up. And this time, instead of drum samples, I want to load on some other kind of samples. And in this case, what I'm going to do is go to a library that's got some great sounds in, and I'm going to go onto user files, and you can see here that I've got this Turf Smoke folder here. So this is a Rawcutz library that is really, really nice. There's a real mixture of different samples here. I've basically put the whole lot in one folder. So these are not categorized into different folder types for things like snares, kicks, and so on. It's just all the samples in that library. And just going to show you a little technique that I use. Just going to pick some samples that I like the sound of. Okay, let me just go with that as a starting point. Okay, this one here, same principle. Okay, let's go for that one. And okay, let's get that. Let's get that. Okay, yeah, let's have that. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Yeah, have that. Yeah, let's have that. Let's get that. Yeah, let's have that. Yeah. Yeah, maybe guitar. Love the graininess of that one we just heard. Okay, let's have that too. Now, what I want to do, I'm going to show you. I don't know how to do this on the hardware, okay? And I'm going to tell you what it is that I'm going to do. It's that I'm going to create a choke group. So all of these are going to be linked together. And that means that only one can play at once. And that creates a really interesting kind of cut up kind of vibe. Almost like Todd Edwards kind of style. So I'm going to do this on the software. And I'm just going to set it up so that I can expose the chains and the I/O section. And I need to basically select all of these samples. So a contiguous select, holding down Shift, selecting them all, and then going to choke group, just dropping down to number 1. So they're all now linked together. So basically only one can play at once. See that? That's a long sample there. It flips to the other one. So let me get my beat back. Okay, that feels good. So let me see if I can remember that. That was it. It was the second one, wasn't it? So we go on to clip. Let's change the loop position, and let me just see if I can get this. Actually, it's not going to be the loop position, is it? It's going to be. What do I want to do here? Yeah, I would have thought so, but like I said, I'm still learning this thing. Okay, let me just have a listen back. Now, actually, I quite like that, but maybe the timing was just a little bit out. I just need to take a look and set the right grid over here. So triplet grid. Let me just see which ones I feel I need to tighten up. Yeah, it's this one over here. Let me get that consistent. So this is what I would class as my kind of intro sequence. So what I want to do is I want to push duplicate. So we've now got a new scene. Okay, let me just show you here. If I go to session, we've got these here. And I want to overdub some new parts. Okay, so that's going to give me some variations. Let's have a listen. So there we go, that's a variation. Now I'm going to go down to duplicate again. Let me show you, session, a new row. And this time I'm going to do something else. So you can see I'm adding on each row something new that I'm triggering in. And because we've got the choke groups on, it's cutting the previous sounds shorter. Let's see if I can find something else. take that one out. Okay, I think I've got something there. So what I want to do now is, on this particular device, this drum rack, I want to add something new, and I want to come down. And what I want to do is just have an effect that I can use to kind of gel things together just a touch, because these are samples from different places and they've got different textures. So I'm going to add a touch of reverb. And we've got here the device controls, which is lovely. Going to take the dry wet mix down a bit. Let's have a listen. Now I've just realized that I've applied that reverb to just one device. Gonna undo that and take it off. And this is one of those other things that I'm still trying to determine in terms of selecting. So you can see here we've got all of these chord samples expanded. Let me see if I just minimize those. I can do that again. Let me try that. So here we go. We're going to add device. Going to come down and go to audio effects. Come down to reverb again and load it up. So this time, hopefully, this is applied over the whole device. Let's have a listen. Let me just solo this on. There we go, wicked. You can hear that. So let me just take the decay time out a bit, and let's take the dry wet mix down a bit. Now I like that because it kind of gels things together, and just really on that theme, it might be a good idea to add another device to really help with that gelling, and that would be to drop in the glue compressor. And let me get this on. Just going to load it up, and let's just have a listen. Going to set the threshold down a little bit here. Let's see how this sounds. I like that. We've got this kind of coherence now with these samples from different locations, and that feels like it's working nicely. But you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another device, and that's going to be a filter. So audio effects, auto filter, and let's drop this in. Yeah, it's a little bit of a cliche, but it's all good. And what I'm going to do is just kind of modulate it, but also I want to add something else on top, and there's going to be a little bit of a kind of delay texture on there. All right, so let me just see how this sounds. So audio effects, come down, and the reason why I'm placing the delay after the filter is because I want to be able to move that filter cutoff, and therefore basically this kind of spinning off kind of texture coming from the delay. All right, so let's see what happens. Let's come back. You see we can select the different devices in the chain with these. So auto filter, let me bring this down for a moment. That delay is just a little bit too dominant. Going to take the dry wet mix down, and also going to take the feedback down, so reduce the amount of echoes. Let's come back to the auto filter. So you see that I was just going through the different scenes there. We've created all these variations from the fact that we've got literally a drum rack with loads of chord samples, and they're all set to choke group 1. only one can play at once. So we get that really interesting interplay between those. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to solo just this one again, have a listen to the difference. And then, just at the end there, I was using the mute button to turn off, to bypass these effects, just to see how that was sounding. I'm kind of arguing with myself which I prefer. I quite like that glitchy kind of chopped up kind of vibe sometimes. So with both those off, it's still sounding great. So that's it. I just wanted to show you that technique. All right. So it's using the drum rack, obviously for the drums, that's easy, but then using a drum rack for chord samples and setting them all to choke group, and then doing that nice kind of little kind of chopped up Todd Edwardsy kind of vibe.